Welcome to the movement. Today we are at the Linwood YMCA on Kansas City's east side. The why? We know health begins in places where life actually happens. The homes we live in, the kitchens we cook in, and the conversations that we share around the table. That's what the movement is about. Connecting Kansas City to ideas and people that help us deliver healthier, fuller lives. The why, where Kansas City connects. And I'll be honest, this one's a little bit personal for me. I love to cook. So this is kind of cool. The kitchen is my favorite place in the house because it's literally where I get a chance to create and express myself. But it's also where my people come together. Some of our best family and friends moments happen around the kitchen table where we're laughing, we're telling stories, we're cutting up, we're joking, but we're reconnecting, and food has a way of centering us. And for me, one of the best ways to say I love you is to make that simple, delicious, healthy meal for the people I care about and share it. And a quick context on why this matters today and what we're talking about on the movement. Based on community health needs assessments by our partners at University Health, the community is asking this community to focus on three major areas: mental health and behavioral health, social drivers of health, and chronic disease prevention. And so today's conversation sits right there in that third lane. And today we're also going to be talking about healthy cooking with someone who lives that mission every day, Gigi the Vegan. Gigi's the owner of Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Café in Westport, a place that's become a real hub for people who want food that tastes amazing and helps you feel your best. She's also the founder of the Midwest Soul VegFest, I can't wait to hear about that, and the Kansas City KC Health Initiative, creating space for education, connection, and wellness that's accessible and welcoming and definitely not intimidating. And what I respect most about this conversation today is Gigi is a survivor who took her own journey and turned it into a mission, helping this community heal, grow, and thrive. So Gigi, welcome to the movement.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
I love that. I love just pulling all that together, and I can't wait to have this conversation.
That was an awesome introduction, by the way.
So your Gigi, your journey, I mentioned that, a survivor to chef and wellness leader is inspiring. A lot of people hear the word chronic disease prevention, and it sounds a little bit abstract, like a brochure maybe sometimes, right? But your story makes it real. So why don't we just jump in? Tell us your story, and what was the turning point for you when food became this, more than just being food, and became part of your healing?
Well, Mark, it became a part of my healing in 2015 when I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And that diagnosis seemed so unreal, considering I thought I was healthy. I was eating what I thought was health food, was still food, like a lot of fried chicken and pork chops and neck bones, and the list kind of goes on because, I am from Arkansas. Okay. And so that is what, my grandmother made, my mother made, and then I started the same cycle.
It's hard to stop that.
It is, and especially when you were, born into this.
Yeah, it's almost a cultural thing, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100% culture thing, because you just mentioned love, right?
Yeah.
And for us on Sundays, this would bring the love into the home, making, what we just talked about, fried chicken and the list, collard greens and cornbread and pudding, and it just went on and on and on. So that was a part of my family, my culture, part of my family. And so after that diagnosis, when I asked the doctor, why did this happen? Colon cancer didn't run in my family, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of that ran in my family. But there was nothing that came up that my uncle, dad, cousin, no one had colon cancer. So I figured this was something that I was doing that was related to me, where I created. And so when that particular physician said, hey, it's food, he mentioned what I was doing and how I was eating. And thank God that that was a turning point in my life, that a doctor could say, that it's the choices that I was making in food. And I said to him that I'll be back my surgery was scheduled within maybe about a couple of weeks, because the way the cancer was positioned in my colon, it was growing quite rapidly. And I went home and I prayed. I wasn't really that 100% religious, but it was a turning point for me that I prayed like I never prayed before, and then I relaxed and let the answers come. And the answer for me was, this is not the way that I should go. And that was the surgery, that I needed to figure out what caused this to happen to me in the first place. And in doing so, I ran across the China study. I started Googling things. And the China study talked about Dr. Colin Campbell, how you can turn food off and on by the choice, cancer on and off by the choices that we make, meaning disease, and food. And I never heard that before. No one has ever said that to me before.
That it had that big of a power play.
Exactly. And they did this huge study, not just in China, America, Africa, all of these regions that had low cancer and, heart disease areas. What was it? And they noticed that people that was eating a lot of fried foods, a lot of fatty foods, a lot of processed foods, had more relevant to disease versus people that was growing their own food.
Oh, sure.
Considered poor people in these other countries. And they had absolutely zero, no disease whatsoever, or cancer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so.
And you mentioned that. You mentioned several, chronic diseases in that mix, and that they just keep showing up in the communities. COPD, coronary heart disease, diabetes, right? Heart failure, hypertension, just go down the list.
Absolutely.
So this happens, and you understand that food can have an impact. So how does that tie into work, and how you shape this thinking that you have about food access, food justice? I mean, these are words that I've heard come out of your vocabulary.
And they do, and it does. And just to take you back a little bit more, is that once I realized that food is so important to our whole well-being in our communities, not only did it was able to help heal my body from cancer, but I also found I raised four sons, all four.
God bless you.
Feeding them the same way. And one of my sons which is a chef, and I'm so proud of him, by the way. I'm proud of all four of them. But he really had a lot of issues with skin eczema. He was doing poorly with that, and then my other children had some other things. But after finding out and using this method, meaning that he had to have a lot of water, and also a lot of fruits and vegetables, and especially watermelon, to help get rid of that inflame, from his body, and also the same method that I use. And so now, like you mentioned, I am on a quest to help others heal and to help support our community, and especially children.
That's great.
And this is why I do what I do.
How's this? So since 2015, this has been the mission. So we're going to go, lots of questions, lots of conversations. We're going to get a chance to do you get to show us some of the skills here on the counter and right here at the Linwood Y. Talk a little bit about, one thing, right here at the beginning. What's something easy that a listener could do after this conversation just to feel better?
I say, I like for people to take it easy and not get so intimidated as it relates to plant-based nutrition. I say, what is your favorite meal? Whatever that favorite meal is, let's say if it's spaghetti, right? So we can still use noodles, but what we're going to do is swap out for rice noodles and not egg noodles, right? Just simple swap. And instead of animal protein, we'll use mushrooms. And then you can still make your marinara sauce or however way you want, and include other herbs into that. And that becomes an awesome dish. And you can do this, start on a Monday. Say, I'm going to do this once a week. Let me go let me just start this plant-based, not eating meat once a week.
So what's you started right off with people have a perception. I
Yes.
mean, what is the biggest misconception that people might have about this plant-forward eating or vegan or, like you
for
said, it could
sure.
be intimidating first.
Yeah, it's very intimidating. It was intimidating for me when I started. So I can only imagine with someone else. And because I started trying to save my life, and that was different, you know what I mean, from anything else, from saving the world, animals and everything else. So it was because I wanted to live. And in order for me to do that, I had to change the way that I ate. I told you, I was eating some fried chicken. That's nothing like fried chicken now. I have to give that up. Now, if you would have ever said to me 10 years ago, no more fried chicken, I don't know, I probably would have hurt you. You understand? I would have hurt you. But being able to swap those things out within 3 days, Mark, my taste buds absolutely changed. And I couldn't tolerate it or eat it anymore, even if I tried to, because my body won't let me, because I've changed. Not only did I change the way that I eat, I changed the way that I thought. I started loving myself even more. I even changed what I put on my body, from the oils, from the way that I clean and wash my face. My clothes is cotton clothing. I don't wear any leather purses anymore. I don't do any of that. My entire well-being is structured around self-love, so that I can offer more to my community and do more for my community and do more for the children in the community and the families in the community. And that's another reason why Gigi's Vegan Café was created, so that we can be a catalyst in the community where people can come and get 100% organic juices. They could come and get a little bit of education, say, hey, I want to start going vegan, but I don't know how. Or this is, and I have handouts that I give them with recipes and so on and so forth. And not only that, our food is delicious. Mark, you just said, I'm going to answer your question. When people say, I don't want to do this, I know what it tastes like. It is blandness. It doesn't taste good. It's all about, I always say, even the food I was eating prior to, it's always the flavor, right? Yeah. It's always the herbs and spices that you put into food that make it delicious. It's still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just swap an ingredient.
I mean, you've gone from this path of saving your life to it's your way of life, right? I mean, that's literally what's happened in that. So you mentioned a couple of things. Step back. Tell me, I've also, again, I'm going to play some of these misconceptions. People say, what about protein? I mean, and the world's on this crazy protein kick right now, as we all kind of know. What's a simple, practical way to answer that when people, so they're not overthinking this protein thing? How do you get protein in a vegan diet?
Well, I keep it easy and soft. Well, in front of us, we have kale, right? Mm-hmm. So kale, that little bush of kale right there offers 10 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein.
That's a lot of protein.
Because some people may need more protein than others. We need to talk to our doctor and ask, how much protein do my body need? No one talks about that, right? So each person may need a little bit more than others. And then you have your peppers, which is about 1 gram of protein. You have your avocado. That little medium-sized avocado has 3 grams of protein. And then nuts and seeds is where you get a lot of your protein. Not just protein, but your omega-3, 6, and 9s, what we need to stay alive. Because now, when you think about it, a lot of our, animal protein no longer has protein because they're factory farming. They're not outside eating the grass, right? The soil, the sun activates the soil activates the protein, the chlorophyll, all those good things. And then that particular animal eats it and store it into the bones and the fatty tissues. And then when we eat it, we get it, right? But now they're in factory farming, so we don't get it. So the best way to get those proteins and chlorophyll is by eating vegetables. They always been there. We just have to remember and go back to that.
How do you get a skeptical partner, spouse, or your kids to make this change? I mean, and without making it a battle.
I know. I think too, even to this day, I still live as an example. I have 4 sons, only one of them, which is the oldest, Charles, he went, it was like, there's no discussion, whatever helped her, healed her.
Cold turkey.
I'm just going to go
yeah.
cold turkey. He went straight, and he's the manager at my at Gigi's Café.
Okay.
So, but my other 3,
It was probably on the application.
I know. And I'm going to tell you something, Mark, anything that could go wrong. Now, mind you, most of these guys are married and everything else. They still call my mom. My grandchild would say, I'm sick, I'm not feeling well, what should I do? Or they'll just show up for herbs or spices or even juices. So, yeah, but.
Let's just say we're going to start small. If you were to pick, what's the best meal to make a change at?
Oh, I still love to eat, Mark. So let's say, I would say not everybody get down off the green leafy salad. That's the best thing. All living foods, the best way to get protein, the best way to get chlorophyll into the body, antioxidant, all at once. A great salad. Now, the second thing I would say, something fairly simple that I think is, people still love to eat tacos, right?
Yep.
Americans, we love some tacos, don't we?
We do. Yes, we do. Especially right here in this chair.
We can still make that easy, You can get your taco shells, which is made of corn, of course, that's fine. Our purple shells. And then you just add it the way that you used to, swap the meat out and add mushrooms. Perfect and delicious.
Okay.
And nutritious.
We'll start with tacos on Tuesday, everybody.
Taco Tuesday.
Yes. So again, back to some of these chronic, conditions, obesity, hypertension, diabetes. Let's make it a little practical. If somebody's worried about, he says, you went down this path of fighting cancer as you're on your early journey. What are things that some food swaps, you've used that word, that are good for, high blood pressure, A1C's a little out of whack, cholesterol, those types of things. You got some specific things that can address it?
I would say, I always use legumes, and those are, lentils is perfect for that. The black, red, whatever color you can get. You can make lentil soup, it's wonderful. You can make lentil burgers, which I would pass on recipes for people that are going to, watch this and call in, and I'll make sure that you can hand those over too. And then, quinoa, you can make great, delicious quinoa bowls, and that's one of the things that we're going to make today.
Ooh.
And you can still have those collard greens, turnip greens that people like to have, black-eyed peas. The list goes on of great, healthy food that you can eat without adding a bunch of salt to it. You want to swap your salts, to maybe a celery salt, which is very important to do that, especially with high blood pressure. And then swap out a lot of our fruit too, start eating blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, antioxidants, without a whole lot of sugar in them.
Yeah. Yeah, I in my mind, I think about all the excuses people can come up for not making a change like this. And, one of them is just the commitment and just the time it takes, I mean, obviously it's been called convenient food for a long time and fast food for a long time, but, people they just not slowing down enough to catch up and let life be like it should be. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that I still meet people where they are, and especially you have mothers that are working and they have children and they want to drive through Taco Bell or McDonald's or wherever it is. Nowadays, these places are offering plant-based meals, that you can swap out ingredients and still be able to take that meal home for your children. Even going to now these pizza places, and they have where it's not just so high in fat. You can get gluten-free, pizza crust. You can swap out the cheese on the pizza. Now they have vegan, cheeses that's on the market. So you can still eat and be happy and just swapping some basic ingredients. And that's pretty simple to do.
Tell me a little bit about the KC Health Initiative.
Oh my goodness, I love KC Health Initiative. KC Health Initiative was born after I went through this process of self-healing. I felt that I made a commitment to God and asked for the strength to go through the process for healing, because it wasn't easy. It was a lot of work. And in turn, oh my.
It's okay. I feel you.
In turn, I was given an assignment to help others and to serve. And I tell you, when you get this assignment, no one can stop you with that assignment because you made that commitment. And in doing so, I started going into grocery stores and teaching people how to read the ingredients on the back of the canned goods or whatever packaged goods that they were purchasing, so that they can make healthier choices in cooking for themselves and their family. And then I went on and started detox programs and so on and so forth, where I would go into individuals' home and we'll set up a detox, like a week of going, plant-based, or, they would hire me to go into their kitchen and swap ingredients out of their refrigerator and sub things out. And from there, I felt God saying, that's not big enough. That's not what you promised me. Gotta reach massive amount of people. And in doing so, I created KC Health Initiative, and KC Health Initiative, we go into schools and we teach kids about plant-based nutrition. We teach them how to grow their own food and what each vegetable represents, or fruit, and what it does to the body when you eat it. And from there, Midwest Soul VegFest was born. And we also, from Midwest Soul VegFest, we have a kids VegFest that is attached to that, so that we want families to come out and support and be a part of an event that people say it would never happen in Kansas City, but at that time, we had a wonderful mayor called Sly James that supported this cause and says, Gigi, go do it. You can make it happen. And we have, and we bring out roughly about 10,000 people that show up for a Veg Fest right here in Kansas City.
That is fabulous. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Do people think eating healthy is expensive?
People do, and I believe that's where a lot of our coaching come into. I just made a video, or in the process of making a second video, where we talk about you can even go to the Dollar Tree and purchase let's say you spend $7 and you can feed a family of 8 because they have jasmine rice for $1 there, Yeah. They have, I even seen a lot of frozen vegetables that they have that you can take home and cook a meal. So you actually can feed a whole family at $1 at a Dollar Tree, So when we think about how much milk charges, when we look at whole milk, it's not that less expensive as swapping the milk for almond or oat milk. And it's all about where you shop. It's the same. But I think it's just a myth that people really think that and believe that, when in fact, once you start the process, you would see, hey, wait a minute, I'm not spending more money than I spent before.
And you might be spending less on medical.
Absolutely.
I'll stop finish that for you.
You think of, I love that.
Yeah. Do you have some kind of a plate formula? I mean, do you have like how you break up a plate when you do a meal, or tell me. I know we're going to see something here.
I love that, and I try to, when we make a plate, I think that we should have, like you mentioned, I like to see protein on the plate. I like to see chlorophyll on the plate, meaning mostly living foods on the plate. And I like to see fiber on the plate. And I like to see anti-inflammatory on the plate. And that's a plate that we're going to have today, and especially a plate that is good for the heart as well.
Yeah, I love this conversation. I'm excited to see what we're going to cook here in a second. And, we continue to talk about connection at the Y, Gigi. It sounds like, you're connecting us back to food in a different way than many people have probably ever thought about. And again, I just say that's what we're doing here at the Y, trying to express this and get people exposed to the great things that have been on your mission for a while. So what are we going to cook?
And, we're going to cook some deliciousness. That's what we're going to cook.
All right.
First off, we have quinoa, chickpeas, we have kale, we have zucchini squash. We also have avocado. Look at this spread that we have here.
I see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I can't wait for you to taste it. And you're going to say, Gigi, I'm going to go home, and this is what we're going to make.
I love it.
By the weekend.
Let's get started.
Okay,
All right.
let's do it.
Here's what I want to underline. This is not about perfection. This is like making healthy food, right? So
Exactly.
what are we actually cooking, Gigi?
Well, today we have quinoa, we have chickpeas, we have zucchini, green and yellow. We have a red bell pepper. We even have a purple yam.
A purple yam.
Like a sweet potato,
Yeah.
but it's purple. And what it is that this is great for the heart, and also is great for people that have diabetes because it's low in sugar.
What out of all these things you just went through, what's your favorite here for like the MVP ingredient?
Ooh, I say for me, I love, I'm from Arkansas. Remember, anytime, and it's the season, for the purple yam.
Yeah.
And it's delicious, and you can find it now in any grocery store here in Kansas City.
That's great. Okay, so what do you want me to do first?
So the first thing I think that we should do, we'll go ahead and start with our zucchini.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at you. You're an expert on dicing this thing.
Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do on this side, I'm going to work on our herbs. Now, I do suggest to people sometimes to go ahead and add the herbs after you're done with preparing and cooking and chopping and dicing when it's all finished up, the entire product. What we usually do, because we are sauteing all of this together, you can add a little water, we can add a little bit of veggie stock, and that's what I'm going to do now.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and add, usually this would be almost like 2 teaspoons. And you just want a little sizzle there. Not too much, not too less, just a little sizzle. And the reason why we're not cooking with oil is because we really shouldn't. Once you heat oil up to a certain temperature, it kind of turns into a different beast. Oil is good for us eating it in its purest form, right?
That's good to know.
All of those omegas, 6, 3, and 9, the list goes on, a good fat.
What should people be smelling right now?
Oh, you should be smelling the aroma of zucchini noodles. Yeah.
Should we go with the red pepper, or do you want to go down?
Let's go ahead and go with the red pepper, and then after red pepper, we'll go ahead and dice up a little bit of kale in there,
All right.
and we'll go from there. Now, these zucchinis are packed with fiber. Just so good to have. And you
We'll keep
see,
it
I'm
chunky,
so
too.
used to touching
Yeah.
a hot pan.
Yes.
With my gloves on.
Don't do
It's
that.
just habit.
Don't do that.
I love flipping things with my hand, but you know what? Let me go ahead and flip with this. This is amazing.
Okay.
And so what I love about this dish, Mark, is that anyone can make it. It is so easy and simple, and it's a great family dinner. And if you have leftovers, you can eat it the next day.
And so what do we do with this purple yam?
Yeah.
Is that later, or is that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and, what I like to do, I like to steam it.
Okay.
So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and steam that. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and
I'll get some
start
kale.
on your kale.
I like my kale. Kale, I can just be aggressive with it, right? I mean, just.
Because
it looks
we hear kale is aggressive anyway.
Yeah, it looks mean. No, I'm just
but
kidding.
what I like to do, kale is the super, you talk about green, you get it all from kale. And what makes kale, some people say, well, kale is a little bitter. That's because we have to massage her. Yeah, you have to really massage the kale. And when you would massage the kale, it makes the kale even sweeter.
Man.
Did you know that, Mark?
Yes, I
Isn't
know.
that amazing?
Just people just, it's just like everybody. Everybody likes to be treated nicely.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, what a
Right.
great job
Okay.
you're doing right here.
Okay.
Okay, so everything looks good. And so what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start with the quinoa. And I'm going to go ahead and let you, this is our veggie stock that is low in sodium, right? This is
Did you guys
for
make this
true
yourself?
heart health. Yes, what we do is...
All of it?
Oh, yes, go ahead and use all of it. Yeah, and what we do is, and you can make this at home yourself versus buying it in the store. All of your scraps and leftovers like we have here on some part, you can just store it in your refrigerator. Quinoa, you pour it in there, and you can store it in your refrigerator. It's already pre-measured, just like the recipe. And we're going to put that in there, and we give it a little stir. Believe it or not, this meal only takes about 15, 20 minutes, and it's done.
So there goes that time factor, right, that we were talking about earlier. People can get this done.
Oh, yeah. And here you
look
go.
at this
Go
stuff.
ahead and add all of your fabulous herbs. You can just do a little pinch.
Okay.
Here's the cumin. Yeah, there you go. A little pepper.
Which one was this?
You're doing it.
Which
You're
one's
doing
this?
it. That's our little veggie mixture there that has thyme in there.
Sorry, I'm just sniffing some garlic.
Oh, isn't that amazing? So you already know what these are.
I'm smelling
and there's turmeric that you can add in there.
Love some turmeric with ginger.
Oh, yeah. And also when you can turn this into a golden bowl. You know what I mean by that?
I like that.
That turmeric is going to turn it a little bit of yellow. Yeah, which is great for antioxidant.
Oh, yeah.
And anyone suffering from joint pain.
Well, see, we're adding some spicy to it here.
Yeah, we're going to add some spice. We have to spice things up. There we go.
I'm not going to say bam. I promise. All right.
And so what you do is go ahead and cover. We let her rest.
All right.
And then we will add our chickpeas, and then we all set.
Okay. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to let this finish up.
Yes.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to see this thing.
The finished product.
And then do we get to taste it?
It smells so good, doesn't it?
It does. It smells awesome. It smells awesome.
And then we'll get a chance to taste it and let you taste it. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, there were some other things we were talking about. Talked about some of these juices that you make while we're sitting here kind of waiting for this. Yes. You know, you said you were doing some cold pressing and all that good stuff. 100%
cold pressed juice at Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe. But today, I have for you is our cold pressed 100%. Look at it. You tell me what it looked like. What it looked like to you.
It looks like life.
100% life force in this beet juice. You hear of athletes always talking about what helps them to sustain. Beet juice, look at it. It looks like blood, right?
It does.
Cleanses the blood. Yeah, it helps to, helps to open up arteries and etc. And gives you that energy.
That's
you
great.
ready?
Yeah, let's do it. All of it at once?
All of it at once.
We're doing a shot. Okay, here we go. Cheers.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. That is so good.
Delicious.
That is
You're
absolutely
be
wonderful.
Here in
I am. You're going to see the life force coming. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, so we're back. Look what we brought. We've got the golden bowl with all this goodness in it. Zucchini, red peppers, tomatoes, the quinoa on the bottom, this purple potato, is yam. Purple potato yam.
Yes.
It looks fabulous. And that's our kale.
Oh, you did.
Oh, and the
fantastic.
chickpeas.
You did an amazing job.
Well, I probably deserve to eat this too.
Yes,
so I'm going to start right here.
And the quinoa is all the way at the bottom there. It sits on top of everything.
I'm going to get a
little. But what I love about this, Mark,
is
that you hear people saying it's not enough food when I eat vegan or plant-based. Look at all of this, and it's good for you. It's delicious and flavorful.
Oh my!
And you're going to be ready to dance after you finish this bowl up.
We're going dancing.
What do you think?
That's fabulous. Wonderful. Purple potato. That's great. Yes, because that's a lot of food. That's a big bowl.
And those herbs we just used, there's no salt in this. Can you believe it?
High five, Gigi. Thank you very much. Thanks for being on this movement today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I got a few more questions for you. We'll sit back down and talk. Thank you all.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that was deliciousness, just like you said.
Thank you.
I hope there's enough for me to take home. Gigi, give us one habit people can try in the next 24 hours.
I think that a habit to try within the next 24 hours is waking up a little earlier than you normally wake up. Spend some time in a space within yourself and give yourself a little bit of gratitude and a little bit of grace before you start your day.
That's fantastic advice. I will take that. I will take that. If you pick up one thing from today, let it be this. Small shifts in your kitchen can lead to big benefits in your health. And that's exactly why the Y brings you these conversations like this, because our community told us chronic disease management and prevention matters. And prevention just doesn't start at the hospital, it starts in your home. And thanks to Gigi the Vegan and our support from University Health, a great partner here at the Linwood Y and across the metro. So connect with ideas and people and resources that help you thrive. The Y, where Kansas City connects. Stay motivated, stay connected, and keep moving forward with us in the movement. Together, we're building one stronger community, one story, and one meal at a time.